all doing today out there in the super community? I was hoping to have a guest on tonight, Matt. If you've watched the stream, any of these streams, or any of the old Dreamers podcast videos that I've put together, he has been a regular, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, as well as the person who gave me the Super Joe Pardo name way back in 2006, I believe, was the year. So yeah, I was hoping he would join me because he is a huge proponent of Twitter. I don't know if proponent's the right word, but he's a huge user of Twitter, and I thought I would try to tackle this topic. The reason I wanted to bring up this topic is because I posted a poll a little while back asking, should I toss my hat in as CEO of Twitter? Obviously, this is a few days ago at this point, but I would like to think that we could have a pretty good conversation around this topic because of the fact that it's so polarizing and people, have their own takes on it. And, some people love Twitter, some people hate Twitter. And I mean, here we are. I usually like to see an 80 an 80-20 split, but in this case, that is not the case. We have a 61-39% split, which I have so many thoughts. So basically, the reason that this question came up in the first place was because of one of our team members, one of our mechanics at the shop, came in my office and was like, "So are you putting your hat in, tossing your hat in the ring to be the next CEO of Twitter?" And I kind of laughed. I'm like, "Well, what? Wait, why are you asking?" He's like, "Oh, well, Elon wants to, asked about getting somebody else to do the job." And I was like, "Well, I saw that, and apparently he got voted off his own island." Of being, of whether or not he should be Twitter CEO. And, I was giving it some thought. And I was like, well, I don't know that I would necessarily want to take that position, because of you're still going to have to answer to the guy who got, I mean, whether he directly got all 40 some billion dollars together on his own or not, you still have to answer to him, right? Like I imagine he owns the majority share, even if he's not he's not the sole owner of the company, though that maybe he is. I honestly haven't looked that closely into it. I personally haven't used Twitter all that much. I have a Twitter handle. It's at Super Joe Pardo. It's been, I've had it for, I don't know, a number of years. I've had different Twitter handles over the years. And I think I still have access to some, if not most of those accounts, that were for different companies and things that I've put together. But, it's kind of like a burning ship. You're like, you get to be the captain. It's like, first things first, deal with the mess. I'm like, okay, well, it's a mess. But one thing I would say that Elon has done well is getting people to go to the platform. Now, whether or not that's sustainable or not, is to be seen, and we'll see if it continues to be a platform that people flock to. But I just think that I would like to see. I mean, I love the idea, right? I love the idea of the town square. I love that. Well, at least in theory, I love the theory of freedom of speech. I love the theory of it being a town square that's not manipulable by, people behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz style of things. That doesn't mean that that's the way it is, was, or ever will be. But I feel like it would be really cool if that was the case. I think that, at least Elon's explanation of wanting to own Twitter and the idea that it's that we as society need a town square that's unbiased and all that it's admirable. It's admirable. And but clearly the way that Twitter was being run was just burning cash left and right, even though they had they had the brand deals with companies, and they had a decent sized user base. Though, how many of those people are bot accounts, I don't think I ever actually saw the final count on that, which makes me think that maybe it was, or maybe it wasn't as much as they were purporting, which is why one of the reasons Elon wanted to get out from the deal was, there's just so many bot accounts. It's more than 5% of all of Twitter, and it probably is. And how many of those accounts are dead, right? Like, I know I have several accounts on Twitter that are all dead, or just not actively posting on. So I think that's a big thing that you have to consider when you're saying, like, how many active users are logging in, how many active users are tapping into the platform and using it. And then also looking at, like, how many people actually are using the platform and, like, contributing to the platform versus just having a login, logging in and using it to, like, get the news or get updates on this, that, and the third. Like, I know I never really made it part of my habits to, like, get into using Twitter on the daily. A part of that is I'm just a very slow reader. I like to read every single word, and that just takes a lot of time, and I just, it just doesn't work for me. Reading each of those tweets when it's just like tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet. But I do see the value in it. So going back to it, like, thinking about the team member that asked that question, I don't know that I would want to work under Elon personally. I do, full disclosure, I own a Tesla, big proponent of Tesla and what they're doing and where I think we need to move as a whole. And batteries might not be the end all be all forever and always. Like, I think that it's just another stepping stone. To me, it's a stepping stone to the next thing, which is fine. But getting away from fossil fuels and all that, I think it's a step in the right direction overall. Even if it's not, again, the end all be all of transportation forever and always. I mean, if that was the case, like trains, steam trains and horses, and we've gone through iterations of transportation over the years. But so I think what's also interesting about his offer to the internet is that he would still run the technology side of it. Which, not that I'm not a tech head and all, but when it comes to, like, running servers and code, like, I understand. I have an extensive background in technology, but I don't have a specialized background in technologies, right? So I think that it would be really great to have somebody that could run that side of it, while being the face of it, while being the voice of reason in the room, but like, how much power would you really have to somebody who clearly has abused the power that they've had in the short period of time that they've had it? Things like blocking people, things like, discovering that there was an open, there was an open opportunity for people to, to go into the voice chat rooms or whatever, I forget what they're called. The equivalent of Clubhouse for Twitter. And go in there and even though you were like banned from Twitter, you could still get into the voice chat room, and then, oh, you know what, we're just gonna shut down the whole voice chat room thing. Like, come on, man, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, right? It's like childish. Fix the problem. Don't fit like don't just throw a hammer at the problem and expect it to be fixed. That's pretty ridiculous. So, things like that just makes me like hesitant to even want to have that job, because I feel like I would probably get very frustrated very quickly at the lack of standards, at the lack of like I always say, and this goes for any business, even in with my own kids, right? You can bend the rules, you can break the rules, but there's got to be rules, right? And we don't want to make it a habit of bending and breaking the rules, but sometimes, it's sometimes you have to, right? I think a friend of mine, Lee Cockrell, I forget how he said it, but as a counter to the idea of a policy, it's like, companies make policy so that they could be basically, so you have like a nameless, faceless thing to blame for why you can't be customer centric, right? And I wish I could remember the exact quote that he made, but if you haven't checked out any of Lee Cockrell's books, you should consider doing so. He writes some really great books. He was a former former executive vice president at the Walt Disney World, the resort. He was the executive vice president of operations. He actually wrote the foreword for my book, Sales Won't Save Your Business. So, and he's written like 4, 5, 6 books. He has books published in all kinds of languages and stuff like that. So, really great resource for management stuff specifically. He's a great person, great human to get to know and to get to hang out with and all that. But yeah, so it's a complicated mess. But one thing that I do feel is important, that I differentiate with away from Elon, is like, I know he put out the ultimatum, like, oh, you guys are gonna work hard, like crazy hard, or you might as well just quit now. While I believe that when the chips are down, you have to swing the bat. That doesn't mean that the chips are down and everything's going all in every single day, forever and always. Especially when, that doesn't mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a sense of urgency, but every day should not be the battle that he's trying to make it out to be. Now, with that said, there is dire issues in Twitter, and issues like web servers issues and stuff like that like need to be fixed. I've heard all kinds of reports of different things being broken and like weird stuff breaking that should never be broken. It shouldn't be broken on a website that's trafficked by the entirety of the world, from around the world. And if I were to get involved, I don't think I would want to bring that kind of rhetoric there. Now, that's not to say that he didn't offer, packages to people to leave effectively. And that's not to say that it wasn't already bloated from other, Jack Dorsey ramping up because of the pandemic. Like, it's kind of funny or strange that like these tech companies that, because we make out these tech companies and these people that are, multi-millionaires and all that, to like be able to see things that we can't see. And yet some of the biggest follies of the last 2+ years have been from the tech industry, the tech giants, staffing, overstaffing, having the disillusionment or illusionment, I'm not sure, one or the other, however, I guess it depends on the perspective, that this is how things are and will always be. Like, we're just, hitting the fast forward button on digital taking over the world. And that clearly is not the case. That's not how things are playing out now. Retail, brick and mortar has come back pretty strong. But with that said, brick and mortar is managing a decline overall, kind of like the cable, broadcast companies managing decline. Like every year, it just shrinks a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more as more and more people cut the cable, watch YouTube or watch something else. Like, it's kind of crazy to see like that they're just managing the decline versus proactively trying to bring people back into the fold. And I think we kind of saw that too with to bring it to Shark Tank. Like Shark Tank Live, I think was, the idea was to bring a sense of urgency to watching the show live and not just watching it like, on Hulu or watching it here on this channel or on their YouTube channels. They have several different YouTube channels that they, share the show. So it's just really funny to see and sad at the same time to see the decline of high quality network television, and then also in the brick and mortar, and now stuff is coming back up from what it was. At least in the brick and mortar side. The TV side, they had their spike at the beginning when I was stuck at home, and then came back. It was come back down to reality of going back to managing the decline. So when it comes to Twitter and whether or not, like, I don't know, it would be really so there's like pluses and minuses. So after this team member asked me the question of would I be interested in that job, I started weighing out the positives and the negatives, and it's like getting on a sinking ship, right? Like, can we turn it around? Maybe. I think that there's a ton of value in the name Twitter. I think that having somebody that tries to embody the things that Elon says but doesn't necessarily do could definitely help. But at the same time, I feel like, oh wow, like I don't know that I would want that, association with it. That, like, if it fails, like, it might be you. It's not going to be Elon that's going to be taking the heat for it. It's going to be whoever the CEO of Twitter ends up being, right? And that's going to be me, because the buck isn't going to stop with Elon. Like, that's not going to happen, right? Because Elon's done too many positive things that he's not going to take the rap for that. So I don't know that I would want to be, that have the bus backed up over me on some stuff that's like, we had a conversation about it and you were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. But, we have the data to support why we should, or why we should do more research into doing that kind of thing. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Oh, okay, cool. So things continue to, like, the Rome continues to burn, and we just sit back and take the heat for it. And I mean, there's something to be said for professional fall guys. Like Roger Goodell is a great example of this, right? Like he's the guy. Like he gets paid a lot of money to make decisions. Gets paid from the league and the ownership of the NFL to, like, manage the really not popular decisions that are made with the NFL. And he's probably going to be, able to land wherever he wants next, especially if there's an organization that has like, oh, we're kind of on fire right now. We need a guy that's going to come in and like take the heat for us. I think that's asking a lot of me and of my family, because I would absolutely be taking it very personally. I don't like to, set expectations that would that put me in a bad position, and put me in a bad position, because I can't make the decisions to actively make change, to actively do what's right. And in the case of Twitter, what's right is really hard to know, right? Like in theory, we know what hate speech looks like. In theory, we know what, shouldn't be allowed on the platform. But in practice, it's really not as black and white as that. Makes it really tough. Hemant, I hope I said your name right. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Please, everybody that's watching right now, please let us know where you're watching from in the chat. It'd be great to hear where everybody's tuning in from. How's it going? It's going pretty well. We got Eagles. First place Eagles. Though I'm nervous. Everybody here in Philly is nervous. If you're following the NFL at all, we're a little nervous. Last couple of weeks have been rough. Oh, that's great. I'm glad ding ding for me. I'm not great at pronouncing names most of the time. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that I got it right. I've been watching your videos for a while. Keep going. Well, my computer monitor went to sleep here. That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. I've been doing these videos since November of 2020. Man, I'm gonna have to do when we come up on March. That's when March 2020 or 2021 is when I started taking it really serious, and I'm gonna do like a 2-year anniversary show for the channel then, and I'll talk about like some of the crazy things that I had to do going through trying to figure out the whole copyright system and everything. Is real pain in the butt, and I spent a lot of hours just to get out of the gate and going. But you're more of a basketball guy, so like so I don't really watch much basketball. I follow the Sixers for the most part, but yeah, it's NBA is not really my thing outside of watching a Sixers game every once in a while. Oh, thanks, Chaz. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, I'm looking for. I had to figure out I had to find. I think it was like March 1st or something. It was like the 2-year will be the 2-year mark of like taking it really seriously, because I had done a few videos prior to that, Shark Tank related and the profit related here on the channel, but it was like in March I was like, all right, I really need to, like, I'm already starting to see some traction growing, like let's like really dive in and get it going. And we've gone through a lot of iterations over the last 2 years with the channel, but how are you doing, Hemant? How you doing, Chaz? Mike, Mike, if you were appointed CEO of Twitter today, what would be your first order of business or action as CEO? Ooh, that's a tough one, right? I think my first order of business is let's read the room, right? Let's have a conversation and let's talk about what's on everybody's mind, like what's working, what's not working, and that's a conversation that would happen without Elon there. And then we put we get a person or two people together, put the findings together, and say, okay, here's like the most actionable things that we can do. Now, what can we do in the short term, and what can we do, what's long-term plans, right? That's just get the plan of action together. Cause it's easy to sit back and like armchair quarterback it, right? And say, oh, well, I would do this and that. But to me, the first thing is get a beat of what's going on with everybody. What's on everybody's mind, what's working, what's not working, how could we do it better? And And if anybody has any ideas, like bring it to the table, and we'll workshop it, right, and see where we're at. That would definitely be my first thing, and because I think it's also a level of trust too, that like we're here to listen just as much as we're here to take action. And if we're just taking action, then we're probably not really listening. And if we're just listening, we're not taking, we're not going to be taking any action. But yeah, that's what I would do. Good to see you. Was that RENS 16? I can't pronounce these things. Come on. All right. AP. Hello. I hope you're all well. I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you here. Let's see. Haman says, I'm just doing some work, trying to raise some capital. This is random, but can I have your email? Are you a VC by any chance? Haman, I am not a VC yet, but I did do a poll the other day asking about just that, about whether or not I should I start investing in businesses in the super community? And the answer seems to be overwhelmingly yes. Yes, I should. So I'm definitely open to the idea of doing it. And what I'm playing around with right now is how I would go about implementing it. And so what I'm proposing is that, and let's workshop this right now, right? So what I'm proposing is, because the channel is doing really, really well. I mean, it's not paying all the bills. I mean, or by any stretch of the means, but like because it's doing well enough that I feel like I want to be able to give back to the community in some way, shape, or form. I would like to start investing in businesses in the super community. So what I am proposing is I'm thinking I'll start a fund, and that fund will start at, say, the number I'm thinking is $10,000. And each month I will take a percentage, thinking between like 1 and maybe up to 10% of the ad revenue that's generated on the channel, take that money and add it to the $10,000 fund at the end of each month, right? So we do, I have an open call for pitches, and I take the pitches, we go through the pitches, I'll get to create content from that, which should generate more ad revenue for the channel. You guys and girls, gals, in the super community can share the videos, give you more incentive to share the channel, and help it grow that way. And then when the time comes, I will, pick, when a business idea comes along that's worth it, I will pick that business, right, and then take up to that total of the fund. So if it's in the first month it's $10,000, and the second month maybe it's $10,300 or $10,500, whatever it is, and then take a percentage of the business and help the business along in the ways that I can, so that we can grow that business and grow, my funds and my money and your business and your money, and support the super community in that way. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think in the comments, if that makes sense. Because I've been passing it through a bunch of people to see like what makes sense. Because at first I was like, oh, well, we could do like a giveaway, but then I'm thinking like, well, I want to be able to get a percentage too, because I want to actively be able to help more than just send a check, right? Because money will only help so much. And I don't, I know that not everybody is in a position to be able to pay me the fees that it costs for me to work on their business, especially as the channel grows. The time that I have is like less and less and less. And it's like, wow, I could like be working with you one-on-one, or I could make like 3 videos that will, have recurring income for years to come. It's just, how much time do I have? Not a whole heck of a lot. I'm lucky I'm even able to be here tonight with all of you. Haman, if you want to get in touch, just go to joepardo.com/contact. You can send an email from there, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And once we get the investment fund together, we'll definitely be getting it out to everyone. Paul says, "Is it November yet? Can we workshop the mustache back?" I don't know, Paul. My wife was not a fan of the mustache at all. She really did not like it. So I don't know, but I'm thinking like for next November, like I was thinking like maybe doing a handlebar mustache all the way down or something like that. We'll see. I just can't. I can't do it. I was gonna find out like after November, I kind of thought this was gonna happen. Or towards the end of it, I noticed that I had like it's called like beard rash or something. I've gotten it like once or twice before. Where it's just like a blotch of red skin. It's like, okay, I shave it and it's like just there. So I just kept moisturizing it into oblivion. It took a couple of days for it to like fully go away. Let's see. How do we say your name? Kahir? I apologize. Big fan, Joe. I don't even watch Shark Tank anymore unless it's from your channel. Wow. I really appreciate that. It's so much fun to get to do these videos, and I love getting to connect with people literally all over the world, as well as just getting to learn. What was it? The term I've heard it before, but something I was watching today was like the more the more I learn, the less I know. And I always constantly feel that way. It's like you have to be in learning mode. And that's the way that I try to approach everything. Thank you so much, Paul. Chaz says, I can't watch Shark Tank now without Joe. Jeez. Oh, that's such an honor. What's funny is my wife and I used to watch it a lot years ago before we had kids and like didn't have time to watch anything. So I would like literally I was doing the same thing. Like I'd pause it and be like, what the heck are they doing? Like, why would they not think like this and this and this and this, just like rattle off stuff. So she wouldn't get mad. She'd be like, oh yeah, I totally, yeah. And she's like, all this makes sense, right? Like when you're talking, like it all makes sense. I'm like, yeah, well, maybe it makes sense to you because, because I'd read some of the comments to her and she'd be like, oh, well, I don't, how does that not make sense? Or how does this not, how do people not know this? I'm like, well, they're not sitting next to me while we're watching Shark Tank on a Friday night or whatever. She used to watch the channel back when I had Larry on like every week because she would watch for what he would say, not for me, because she knew what I would say. It's just for her it was like, what's Larry gonna say next? Because Larry would say anything. Paul says, effing crazy how this channel hasn't blown up yet. Need more Super Joe fans and more mustache and more cowbell. The cowbell. I mean, it's a something, it's a bell and a cowbell. I should get a cowbell in here. Sounds like you're trying to create your own Shark Tank, says Chaz, and you're a genius. Great idea. Thank you, Hamant. Yes. So that is the super tank is what I'm thinking of calling it. And I have some friends that are actual VCs, and some people that are actively looking to invest money. So maybe, I mean, the problem with that is not that I can't do it. The problem is the time. Getting the people together and like getting everybody in one place at a specific time, especially for me right now, is really tough. So at some point, I would love for the channel to be like the only thing I have to do and the only thing I have to worry about and all that. But that's not the case where it is right now. I work at the shop, Pardo Solution. I got a Pardo Fleet Solutions right here. So like it's a little hard to be to be there every 5 days a week, on call pretty much 24/7, and at the same time schedule for something that's at like 3:00 in the afternoon. It's tough. So even doing the interviews and stuff, like I have an interview I think or Wednesday I have an interview, and that is with, who is that with? But I have like one time set. Oh, it's for was it Tada Foods with John? who was on Shark Tank a little while ago. So yeah, so even doing that is tough. Like just having that 1 hour block that I can keep in the schedule has been really tough for me because of just family stuff. So many things. We just added more stuff to the schedule this weekend on Sunday mornings at like 8:30 in the morning. We got to be at swim lessons. So, it's constantly evolving. The schedule's constantly evolving. But let's see. Paul says, the first try was right. So Kahir. I think Kahir was what I said first. Me on every ad I see nowadays. Where are the faces? Ding, ding. Absolutely. You got to self-identify. And I think it's really, really important that companies, it's surprising that more companies don't get that. I know it takes time and effort, especially smaller companies who have to like do photo shoots and stuff. But I've actually been a part of one photo shoot for a friend of mine who was creating promotional stuff for her. What were they? It was for interior design. It was like an interior design course, and so she created basically got everybody together to like take photos and stuff while she did like a mock version of her class, which was pretty cool. But like that's a great way like to not have to put one on and get a photographer there for the first one. Like you just schedule out your time and then you make it happen. Chad says that would be awesome. Your 2 updates says, hey Joe, how you doing? At Paul, I have in fact suggested it in an ad. Our ADV and their engagement has increased. Ding ding. That's great to hear. Yeah, of course it will. I mean, you take a picture of like AirPods. It's just AirPods, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But like we saw it with the iPod commercials. If you're not familiar with the iPod commercials from back in the day, like it was people rocking the headphones, right? And it was like colorful, and yeah, you couldn't see their faces, but they're people. So they're dancing around and having a great time with their iPods, and their headphones. So yeah, it's just part of it. Paul says, "Hello, I forgot about his bell when I wrote that. I was thinking SNL, but yes, now he must have a cowbell. I'll take a look on Amazon, see if I can get a cowbell for not too. But then I gotta like hit it. Like this is, I just hit it with my finger. Like I don't have to like get a stick and beat it." Paul says, wow, yes, nice job. Papa Joe needs to ring the bell on that one. Chess, take your time, brother. It'll manifest 100. Yeah. So I going back to the idea of having the investment fund. I'm pumped. I think it's a really it's a solid idea to be able to give back and to incentivize people to share the channel. And because I did do a pitch competition once. It was back in July. I like half-heartedly put it out there. I only had like 3 people get back to me at the time. The channel was quite a bit smaller at the time, but I also the challenge was only for, I think it was a $100 Amazon gift card. So it was not nearly as big of a deal as say, right now we're up to, have $10,000, up to $10,000 of investment money in the fund. And we'll go from there. So I think it's just, I just want to put the website together, the submission form. I already have it from the competition, so I just have to like make some modifications and add like a spinning number so that it spins up to the $10,000. And then each month, like I said, we'll just add 1 to 10% of the fund of the ad revenue money into that. And while I have your attention, there is something else that I have been looking at doing that I've been really nervous about doing. Now, I'm curious, how many of you in the chat use Discord? Is it just like throw an emoji up if you use Discord? I personally use Discord, and because I wanted to put together a private community, and I hate the word private because it's not really like anybody's welcome to join as long as they follow like the house rules of it, right? But I wanted to, because people have been, reaching out and they're like, hey, I would love to work with you. I'd love to get to, get your input on this, that, and a third. What's up, lackluster nerd? Hand pink waving. I guess is that the emoji for Discord? Discord is useful. I use it to connect with my friends all the time. Every Wednesday we do game night. So thanks to the pandemic. But anyway, I wanted to put together a Discord server to help to enable me to be able to support people in the community in a little more intimate setting. Have a place where I could do guest guest-based workshops and things like that. Don Hector, Breaking Bad has nothing on Super Joe's bell skills. I actually haven't watched Breaking Bad. My wife keeps asking. She keeps pestering me to watch it. There's a lot of TV shows I actually haven't watched. I generally watch movies because they have a beginning, middle, and an end, and it's like an hour and a half to like 3 hours, and I can do that. TV shows, especially hour-long TV shows, seem to just do this thing where they we don't know where it's going, and we're just gonna keep you, carrot on a stick kind of thing. Not my favorite thing for TV shows, because I feel like they just stretch everything to fit the hour-long block. But so with the Discord server, I wanted a place where we could talk about what you got going on in your business, as well as a place where I could support in other ways. So I've put together a handful of channels in there. I'm going to just open it up and share it. So I put together a handful of channels in there, like one for people to get welcome, a general business, right? To talk about, to get ideas out there, get advice, upload your elevator pitch to it, get feedback on those pitches, a place for the universe, to put those goals out into the universe, right? I don't know how you probably can't see this real well. It seems like it's really small on my screen. The SJP channel, right, to talk about the channel as a whole and share the newest videos and stuff, but also other channels like deals, where if you come across a deal for your business equipment or computers, technology, whatever kind of deals are going on, that's a place for that. Memes, technology in general, media, so discuss media like documentaries, news events, YouTube videos, TV shows, podcasts, music, books, audiobooks, movies, a place for self-promotion. So if you have services and things, to put it there. And then fitness, because I think, I'm not a huge fitness buff myself, but I do run half and full marathons. So, and I'm working on getting back in shape after, 6 years of having kids, having 2 kids in 2 years, and trying to work through that and work through a lot of other things. So, been working on getting back in shape, and I want to be able to support the other supers in the community with their fitness goals, as well. So anyway, I put this up over in the over on joepardo.com/SBC, and it is just $5 a month for founding members currently. There's 19 spots left for the founding members. So I don't want it to be expensive. Now, I do know that $5 a month, not in America, Canada, and Western Europe, can be a lot of money. So I with that said, once we get this rolling, I do want to do some kind of giveaway where we give away spots into the community, and maybe the price stays at $5 a month for at least a little while. I don't really want it to get past 10, because I don't want it to be private versus exclusive. I want it to be as accessible to as many people as possible, while also supporting the fact that I get to because I got to invest the time into doing it and or having other people moderate it with me. As I said earlier in the stream, I'm a very slow reader. I like to read every single word. I read like pretty much every comment that comes through the channel, and it does take up a bit of time. And someday it's going to take up more time than I'm able to read all of the comments. But I think that's one of the ways that I can help filter through that. So. That's when I'm gonna put probably a short video together soon and put it out there and send out some emails and things. I'm not gonna probably promote it heavily here on the channel outside of the live streams, just because I feel like the live streams are where like the fan, like the real supers show up the most versus like just any of the videos that anybody could be just searching for. So yeah, that's why, like, I also feel like it could help me keep the channel mostly, if not completely, ad free. I really don't necessarily want to work with an advertiser unless it's really a good fit for me along, and not just from a monetary standpoint, but something that I actively use, something that I believe in, something that I can do the background research into, which all takes time and money, right? Like or time and effort, I should say, and energy away from doing other things. So that's why I really think that, I want to find ways to, monetize the channel where it's not dependent on sponsors that are just, they're just here for the money. They're just here to get their word in front of you, and not really worried about, the experience. And honestly, taking feedback from Linus, Linus Tech Tips, watching, if you don't watch Linus, he does a show called The WAN Show, and he talked a bit about that on a story time, like, a week ago, where, sponsors, where they had to like can the sponsor because, their audience was having a bad experience with the sponsor. And those are the kinds of things that, like, I take very seriously because it's personal, right? Like having, you guys in the community, you girls in the community, gals in the community, it means a lot to me. I've been doing online content creation since about 96 as a 10-year-old boy. So for me, it's very important. Like, my word and social responsibility and all those things are very much at the top of the list. And I would hate for something like an FTX kind of thing to blow up in my face. It would be devastating to me, because the money, I'm not really doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I love teaching. I'm doing it because I love connecting with people. I always say, like, I don't read books. I read people and the stories that they have. And that's one of the reasons I do the interviews. It's one of the reasons I did like 300 plus interviews on my podcast from 2014 to, well, still even to this day. And it's one of the things I love about is those interactions. So to me, I want to be able to keep this as not transactional as possible. So yeah. Look, Cutis. What's up, look, Cutis? Joe, you should be the chief twit. You would run it better than the current chief twit. What's funny is I said in the beginning, I barely have. I mean, I use Twitter, but I'm not like a heavy user of it, and maybe that's a good thing, right? To be able to come in with a unbiased set of eyes that isn't connected to any one particular facet of Twitter. And I think the importance of it being that town square, things that he has said himself, the chief twit has said himself, but then has kind of gone back on not great. But yeah, anyway, it's joepardo.com/SBC. So if you want to get in there and get support for your business, it would be absolutely awesome to have you in there. And if you don't have a business yet and you're thinking about it, like, we'll talk it out, work out goals and stuff. I think it's the lowest bar set way that I can work, like, one on many with people in the chat. So and get outside input, I think is really, really, really important along the way. But let's see. Mark says, "Morning, Joe. Mark from Bali, Indonesia. That's awesome. I have a friend, Anita Sonia is in Bali as well. Aside from YouTube, what do you do, Joe? Enjoy your Shark Tank episodes. Keep up the good work." Well, Mark, I am the COO of Pardo Fleet Solutions, which is my family's truck repair company. Can I get this to focus? Yeah. Truck repair company. And then before that, I was the COO of Pardo Truck Parts, which was the largest independently owned heavy-duty truck parts company on the East Coast, founded by my grandfather and my dad. Hey, Kid India, great to see you as well. Good morning from Israel. What is going on? How do you pronounce that? Chassidish? I hope I'm saying that's right. So that's what I do. I was doing, before YouTube started to take off, I was doing one-on-one coaching and consulting and stuff like that, as well as working at Pardo Fleet Solutions. But that I just don't have time for the scheduling of it anymore. So and I'd rather work on the YouTube channel. I'd rather work with the super community. And yeah, that's pretty much that. And I do one other thing. So I run the Independent Podcast Conference, which, if you haven't heard, is happening here in Philly, September 8th to the 9th. So it's our annual conference that's been happening since 2015 when I put it together. There's me down at the bottom there. And we've just had such a wonderful time. So it's all about building a podcast, content creation, social media marketing, the technology, and everything. So I've been doing. Oh, this has got to get centered. Weird. I've been doing it for quite a while, since like 2012. I put it together at the end of 2014, and it's $299 right now. That includes a lunch on Friday and Saturday. And you get professional headshots included at the event, as well as podcast speakers throughout the event. We do it in one room, which is really cool because you get to rub elbows with everybody. We have like so many Hall of Fame podcasters that come through. People come from all over the world. Like in this picture here, you got Sam is a good friend of mine. If you watch any of the Business Geeks podcast, she came from Australia. Dr. Tyson Franklin came from Australia as well for this event in 2019. That was the last time we had one in person. But yeah, this is the founder and CEO of Blueberry Podcasting, which is a podcast host, one of the preeminent podcast hosts in the industry. So it's just really a lot of fun. We just have a lot of fun and learn, and we get to eat together, and it's kind of like hanging out in my living room. So that is the other thing that I do. And we've done virtual events, but we have not gotten together since 2019, unfortunately. Yes, welcome to the Super Tank, Paul. B says, "Hey, Joe, just wanted to say that I love your content, especially the Shark Tank videos. Always appreciate seeing your input and pitches episodes too." Thank you, B. I really appreciate that. I'm so happy to hear that you're getting something out of it. And I gotta say, like, when people come to me and they're like, "Oh, I feel like I'm addicted to the channel," I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like, it's awesome because it's educational. Like, I would not feel very good about myself if I was making addicting content that was not educational in the least. With that said, like, I watch some entertaining channels just for the sake of being entertained, but I wouldn't say I'm addicted to them. I always want to be learning. I think it's a really key element to it. So, but with that said, like, I don't know, I look at everything in a deconstructed manner. So I'm always looking at, like, what can I learn from this? What can I take from it and, like, recycle it into my own stuff? That's how I look at it. Like, this weekend I was at MagFest in DC, And I was only there for literally 24 hours. I got to hang out with some friends, but just walking around, getting to see like how they were handling their, their COVID-19 restrictions and things, policies and all that. Like, it was really interesting to see. And while I'm a gamer, we play games here on the channel too, but I'm not getting dressed up in cosplay or anything like that. But I did get, for any of the people out there that know what Homestar Runner is, I did get a Homestar Runner hoodie, which I'm not wearing because I'm repping the Eagles right now, and a Strong Bad talking plush doll. Which is just awesome. My kids just oddly love it. They never heard of it or watched it until I showed some of it to them. They can't watch all of it because I gotta like go through the old episodes and see what they can watch. But it's definitely it's fun to see them love it so much. So Chaz says, great audiobook. I like is Ego is the Enemy. It's not a very long book, but very informative, quick. You said Quake book, but Quake is my jam. Quake 3 specifically is my jam. Let's see. Nice. So Locutus at Chaz. Yes, it was a fluster cluck. Elon never intended to buy Twitter. It was just a stupid game by him, and he won stupid prizes. Yeah, he did win stupid prizes. I think he did think he was going to be able to get out of it, and he probably should have just paid the $1 billion. But I guess his ego ultimately got the best of him, and he just was like, you know what? Let's do it. We're going to do it. Why not? I got the money. I'm not going to be broke tomorrow. I'm still going to be able to fly around in my jet or whatever. Yeah, it kind of stinks. It kind of stinks that he didn't just get out of it and not worry about it. Okay, it says you should have your next podcast meeting in Las Vegas. So, here's a business tip for you. So I actually made the mistake. Let me see. Where's the pictures at? Oh, no. Do I not have the picture? Oh, event photos. So that's a great idea in theory. Here's a quick story. So for the first 4 events, for the first event, we held it in a school gymnasium, which I guess I could pull up the picture. Yeah, here's the pictures from the first one. So like, here's so I got the school gymnasium for free. There was like, I don't know, 40, 50 people that came. It was a lot of fun, but the friendships and the people that showed up ended up a lot of them ended up being somebody in the podcasting space later on down the road. Because we all got to like network and do this awesome thing together, which was have a podcast conference together. There's our awesome photographer, Jeanette Pellegrini. She has been our photographer for every single event. But like, yeah, there's just so many like awesome, well-connected people that were at this event. In fact, here's Andrew Zapley, who was on season 3 of MasterChef Junior with Gordon Ramsay, and he came in first runner-up. He came in second place on the show. So he actually went to the school, and that's how because he was on the show, I went to the school, interviewed him, and at a watch party for it, and I got to become friends with him and the family, and that's how I ended up getting to teach a podcasting class at the school, which led to me getting this gymnasium to host the event at. And then afterwards, we held an after party at the house, which we've done every year, except for, here's what I look like if I shave my hair like super down, which is one of the reasons I don't shave it necessarily. But yeah, just getting to host the after party. This is actually in the studio I'm in right now, the garage. But this was like before everything got like done to it. But yeah, so we hold these after parties and had a lot of fun in the process. And I think we watched like one of the Floyd Mayweather fights at it, which was a lot of fun to get to hang out with everybody. But so going back to like what happened for the 5th anniversary, I was like, hey, like, it's the 5th anniversary. Let's get a bunch of people together. It'll be great. We're gonna have a great time. Let's. A friend of mine owns is a minority owner in a place called Ocean Resorts, Ocean Casino Resorts in Atlantic City. So it's like, oh, let's go there, right? Let's do it big. We're going to Atlantic City. Well, at the time I was trying to. It's weird. So I love the fact that they have people, right? Like they're showing people up there. Where's the actual building at though? Like if you were looking for like, what does the building look like? I guess you just wouldn't know. Wow. Okay. Maybe if I go to images. Okay. So it's like one of the largest buildings here in New Jersey. Yes, you can ask questions here. So it's one of the largest buildings in New Jersey, and it actually went bankrupt like 3 or 4 years after it opened. And then a guy named Bruce actually went and bought it. He stayed in Atlantic City. He's originally from Colorado, I think. He stayed in Atlantic City for like, I don't know, a year or something like that, sleeping at one of the other hotels while I was trying to like broker the deal for it. I got to meet him. I don't know where that picture would be, but I have a couple of pictures with him. I actually interviewed him on the channel at one point. It was like a minute and a half interview. It was very, very brief. We were doing a video of something else, and he happened to be walking by, and so he jumped in on the video. But yeah, so it's a super cool building. But the thing is, it's an hour away from the airport, and it was going to be super expensive. And I was like, it's the 5th anniversary, everything's cool. So at the time, I was trying to shoot, like that year, I was trying to shoot my a TV show for Biz TV. Called The Top with Super Joe Pardo, where I go and I help a small business with their business grow. The Top is the team, the offer, and the process. So I do that, and I didn't really put a lot of time and effort into the promotions and the getting things together. And I was staring down the barrel of a $20,000 bill just in hotel rooms that weren't booked. So that was my first lesson in actually read the contract that you're signing. And ultimately I was able to get out of it, working with the friend as a minority owner in the company, was able to, pull some strings and because they were doing something that wasn't really great either. They were offering cheaper hotel rooms on their site than they were to me and my people. So it's like, well, why would anybody book through me if they're just going to go can go to the website and book it cheaper? Like, what the heck, right? So, so I got out of that, but even still, like, it cost what would have cost me at the hotel that we ended up moving in the second year to, which is the Holiday Inn in just outside of Philadelphia here in South Jersey. It ended up costing me like $10,000 that week to do the event. And we didn't have it. I barely broke even, like barely broke even. Not great. And it didn't help that there was like a hurricane coming that weekend and some people weren't able to travel, and it just, and it also didn't help that it was so far away from everything else, like the airport and the highways and stuff like that. So, so would I go to Vegas? I don't know. I mean, where I'm at, they're super cool. They're super chill about like not having to dump a bunch of money in and like make big commitments and pay for rooms and that aren't being used and things like that. So, I don't know. I think what's important is, especially because the way I operate it, it's like mostly me and my good friend, Amy J, which, she's right here in this photo next to Jeanette. She helps operate at the event itself, but all the planning and stuff, it just I do it as my as mostly a team of one for majority of the year, and I think it's really would be tough to try to break away from that, at least in the short term. And now that we're trying to get things going again after taking a couple of years off, we I want to see how things go before I go making any kind of commitments to having it in Vegas or anywhere much more expensive and further away. This place is only like 20 minutes from my house, so like I can run back and forth if I need to get anything. I supply all my own tech equipment, microphones, mixer, speakers, projector. Once you start paying for that kind of stuff, it just adds so much to the cost so quickly. So, but at some point I do want to, because if do other events elsewhere. Because it was originally called the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference, and it's no longer that. It's called the Independent Podcast Conference, and the goal before, the big illness, was to do other events at other places all over the country, or world. So we will get back to it. So we'll just see how things go this year, and the costs are so inexpensive that like even if only 50 to 100 people showed up, like I could easily do better than breaking even on the event. But Chad says, interesting to see how different cities and states pivot from the Rona. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Every state operates pretty much as their own little country and how they operate around the virus. Raph draws, yes, you should be Twitter CEO. When are you dethroning Musk? Ding ding. It would be a huge boost to everything that I've ever done. But it's also super scary because it's on a stage that would be, I think, kind of mind-blowing, just from the public standpoint. But do I think I could do it? Yeah, I do. I don't know that. I don't know that I would want. Again, going back to like, do I want to work under Musk? Maybe. I would have to have a conversation with him first and really get a good feel for what is and isn't on the table, for as far as like what can we change, what can we do, what can't we do, and where's the line drawn, like and how often are we going to talk so we're both on the same page? Because just because I'm CEO doesn't mean that I'm not the money guy. Not when we're talking about billions here. So definitely something to think about. Hey, the Fool in the Rain, what's going on? Hey Joe, Alaska calling. Have you ever had a plausible idea for Shark Tank? I did have at least one idea that I wanted to do back in, it's probably like 2004. I mean, it's before Shark Tank, obviously, but it was, but somebody else went and patented it. I can't say that word. And I don't know that, I don't know if they would have invested in it or not. Let me see. I could probably search up the patent. It was the idea. It was an idea of it. And honestly, it all these years later, it like almost doesn't even make sense anymore because of like global climate change and stuff. But it was a way to melt ice off of a driveway without using salt. That I'll leave it at that. Well, I mean, I'm talking to somebody in Alaska, so maybe it does have some kind of application. But I did, a couple of years after I had the idea, I went and found, because I was really serious about doing it. Like I knew exactly what I wanted, what products I wanted to use to put it together and all. And then I went through the patent searches and found somebody that had already bought the patent for it. So yeah, kind of put a damper on that one. Look here, says Twitter didn't want that breakup fee. They wanted him to buy the entire company. Yeah, I mean, it gave him an out. It definitely gave them an out. Let's see. Look here says Bruce Wayne. Chad says, imagine the early Twitter investors that only care about the 44 billion pockets got lined. Ding ding. Yeah, they did. They did get lined. And I think that part of the problem with money in general and being human is that we it's like they say like so many people that make like 100,000 plus a year, they're like still barely like making it, right? They're like constantly they're paycheck to paycheck it just as well as anybody else that's making a lot less money than them. Because we always like move the bar just a little bit further away, right? Like the goal is a little bit further away. Like, oh, we have a new iPhone. Oh, there's a new iPhone then, and there's a new this and a new that, and the marketing machine just never stops, and capitalism kind of needs it because that's what makes the world, makes that world go around, is people just constantly having that next thing to get, and spill money out of their account. And that's when you end up like, because you get to like 150,000, 200,000, but it's like your friends aren't making that. They're making, or quote unquote making, this amount. So like you're trying to spend all of your money to like keep up with them and like keeping up with the Joneses thing. Like just, what also really sucks is that people have like this, I think, unrealistic expectation for what life is like, can be or should be, especially at different like values of money, and like, oh well, you make this amount of money, so you should be living in like the mansion or a McMansion or something, and you should have like everything be perfect or whatever. But like you live in a house, like I don't know. I feel bad for people that like live in. Well, I kind of know what it's like to live in a museum because I kind of I probably have partially did that growing up at my stepdad and mom's house. Was like 3/4 of it was like a museum. Actually, probably more like 4/5 of it was a museum of stuff, and it just doesn't. I don't know. It never made me feel good or super welcomed. Like we try to do, like one of the things I pride myself and my wife's self on, is making a house that people feel welcomed in and feel comfortable in. Like they're just coming to hang out and have a good time. It doesn't matter, you don't have to get dressed up. We just sweatpants or whatever, right? And it's not a museum. It's not perfect. It's a house. We live in it. It's a home, right? I should say. It's a home. So I think that's really important for, it's like you look at what's that video of when Kanye was with Kim Kardashian in their house, and it's like this big white sterile thing, and it's like, wow, like where's the living going on here? Like where's that at? Because that's, I think, an important part of life in general. So Yuri says, what are your thoughts on Ligma policy in the new Twitter employee code? Now, okay, admittedly, what is a Ligma policy? Or is that, let's see, doing a little search here. Is it the Raul? Is it this thing? But no, it's always verify the account. Bones are arguably getting duped. I mean, the whole like Twitter Blue thing was a complete debacle. That seemed like it was not very well thought out. But with that said, it also could have just been a marketing ploy. Like, get it wrong, but people have a reason to keep talking about Twitter, right? And keep it in their mouth. Is I guess the way you would, could look at it as a marketing play. So I'm not sure if that's what if the Rahul Ligma is what you're referring to. Fired an entire team of Twitter data engineers, as reportedly sacked employees are pictured walking out of San Francisco office on Friday afternoon. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Maybe give me some more prompt on what specifically you're looking for me to comment on. Lokiu says that, Chaz, if I were a Twitter shareholder, I would have told Twitter to accept Elon's offer immediately. I'm sure there was a lot of people, Lokiu, that was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's cash out. Let's go. Lokiu says, I know, right? When they asked for more and Elon was pulling back, they probably were pulling out their hair. Yeah, they probably were. 20,000, enough to bankrupt people. Lokiu says, you're just best hiring a small hotel's conference room. Don't buy any hotel rooms as a condition of the conference room. Ask if participants can have a discount if they book. So there's actually somebody that reached out to me about, they have a company, I haven't followed up with them, but they have a company that books hotel rooms at a discounted rate for conferences without having to go through the hotel. And they do all the negotiations and stuff like that. So I actually need to reach back out to them, but that's only if I moved it to a different hotel. I mean, the hotel room rates I think is like 100 or 120 a night right now for the Holiday Inn where we're at. And the Holiday Inn is like super nice. I wish they would call it something else. I talked to one of my friends that I was talking to about hotel rentals and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, no, we don't call it Holiday Inn. We call it IHG because that sounds more high end." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's still the Holiday Inn. Like, it gets the job done." And one of the things I love about the Holiday Inn where we're at is when you walk into the hotel, you walk in like sliding doors. The conference, like the bathrooms are to your far, like right to the immediate right. There's all the conference room is like the ballroom and everything is like right across the way. The check-in's right there on the left. The bar's right there, like sort of to the left. And then behind that's the pool table. And in between all of that is tables and chairs and couches. So when you walk in, like you get your badge from, for the event, it's just like it's mostly just us. Like we're hanging out and like where are people eating? Right there. Where are people at the bar? Right there. Like you see them. So you don't have to be like, oh, where do I got to go here to there? And that was one of the things we ran into at Ocean was like, where are we meeting up? There's like 10 different bars all over the place and there's slot machines and all these other things. So, it felt very disjointed compared to what people were used to, where it's like you walk in and like everybody's right there, everything's available to you. So yeah, I would say absolutely. The problem with getting the conference room is you need, a lot of times they want you to get those rooms. And if you want any kind of discount, but that's where that other company comes into place. So, I'll have to reach out to them if we move forward with doing an event somewhere else. I had an idea, Chester. I had an idea for a cell phone holder on your thigh while you sit down or driving, but driving might not work. A cell phone holder on your thigh. Oh, like almost like they make like pistol holders for thigh, like a thigh pistol holder. Like you'll see, like usually it's like a woman in a dress, like keeps the gun under the dress, like on the thigh. I guess that could work. I mean, it's probably better than like shoving the phone in your bra or like up in the sleeve or something like that if you don't have it. Chaz says when something happens a lot, go straight to Twitter. Yeah, I mean that's one of the great things about Twitter though, is it's such an open platform that like people will just, and the other great thing about Twitter though is having direct access to people like celebrities and stuff that like run their own Twitter account, like that just are using it themselves, and you can just at them and they will potentially see it more so than like a Facebook page. Dragon's Den UK had a pitch where a woman was pitching a new de-icer product. She was saying all she needed was one airport to make millions. She got an offer, but the equity offer was too high for her. That's I wonder what kind of de-icer it was. Chaz is comfortable. Chaz, I think he'll actually eventually bring back Twitter Blue for verification, but $10 or $12, I don't know. Seems weird. It's one way to verify. Let's see. Local Holiday Inn rebranded to Crown Plaza as they realized that they offered too much for a Holiday Inn. Crown Plaza and Holiday Inn are IHG brands. Yeah, we have a couple of Crown Plazas around here. Yeah, we have a couple Crown Plazas, but I don't think that they're very nice. I don't think they're very nice. Let's see. I guess that looks nice. Nicer than a Holiday Inn. I think it's crazy that there's just so many different brands of hotels. Talking with my good friend Stacy, who is an interior designer and does some IHG properties and stuff like that, hotel rebrands and refurbishment. It's always interesting to like learn a lot of these ins and outs of like what they can and can't do and all that. As far as Twitter Blue, like, but $10 or $12, I don't know, seem weird. It's one way to verify. The problem with verification, like, I get why he would want to change it. Makes sense. Get some of that money. Why not, right? Other people are getting paid for that service effectively, because a lot of those people were getting like junk articles written about them to like make it happen to get the verification. And apparently there's like a whole underground like a black market for getting verified. So I kind of get it, but at the same time, like, the thought process of like, now we can just make all these parody accounts that are all verified, and like not everybody knows that verification has changed. So I think it's an education it's a re-education process from what people are used to, especially on like every other site. With that said, like, I think that having that black market of verification kind of sucks. So not a great way to begin with. But not, paying for it's not great either. So I feel like there's got to be something in the middle. There needs to be a in the middle kind of thing available. So Loki says, I suppose you're right that it was a marketing ploy. However, in the words of Coca-Cola, we're not that stupid, but we're not that smart. They are all just human. All of them. All of us are just human. So we, can make, sometimes mistakes are the best, the best plans that are just mistakes. But we say we don't let people know that they're mistakes. Chester, sounds like Airbnb. I believe that stock and Uber might get a good boost in 2023. Those stocks got hit hard, and those are important businesses for these times. Yeah, I definitely think that 2023 could be the year they bounce back if we don't head into a real deep recession. I think that would be the mark there of whether or not those brands could do better. Now, I will say, going to Dave and Buster's like 2 weeks ago, I think it was the day before. It was the day before New Year's Eve. Was pretty crowded. So that's, to me, is a pretty good sign that like people have money, they're willing to go out and spend, spend money in a way that isn't necessarily something you need to do. Chat says, "What's up with all these females carrying the phone in the back pocket? I can see something on Shark Tank to help the women out." My wife does that. She puts it in her back pocket. I don't. Well, phones are so big now. I personally love the iPhone 13 mini. It's the best iPhone I've ever had, and I will weep when they no longer make another mini. I mean, obviously the 14 mini doesn't exist, so like if they don't make a 15 mini or a 16 mini, someday this ain't gonna work, and I'm gonna be really sad. So, yeah, I hope that they make another mini at some point. But it's a lot smaller. My wife uses she has a 12 Pro, and with the case, like a OtterBox big case, like it's huge. You pretty much have to put it in the back pocket. Lokia says, "Yes, I notice that all the time. It baffles me. Huge process, 100% agreed. But men put the phone in their side pocket. Baffles the women." More men are definitely going out, or more people are definitely going out. Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like if going to MagFest this past weekend, I was only there from Thursday until Friday afternoon, but there was a pretty healthy amount of people there. And talking with a friend of mine who was there the year before, there was maybe like less than half of the people that normally would be there. And so this year seemed like a big year for people to get back out. Now everybody had to wear masks, which kind of stunk to have to do for that extended period of time. Especially on the back of the ear and stuff. It was, my ear's still like kind of raw back there from it. But we got to go and do it, right? We got to be and hang out with people and hopefully nobody got sick from it or anything like that. I fortunately haven't gotten sick from it. So, but I didn't really go around super big crowds. It's pretty spread out. So we'll see. But it is a problem. Like, I mean, it's still in the back of my mind, for even my September event for Indie PodCon, because, especially for Indie PodCon, because we're all these people in like one room for 2 days. It's a lot. And I still don't know what like our, COVID policy is. Like, I don't really want to ask people to wear masks the whole time. I think that if people chose to, I think that would be great. It definitely made me feel a little better at being in the same room with everybody for 2 days. With that said, I'm like 90% sure that they've installed like a filtration system in there, which would, help, goes a long way. But at the same time, like, again, you're in a fairly small room. Relatively small room with a lot of people, all the same people for the same, for 2 days straight. So I don't know. I would feel really terrible if somebody got really sick from it. But look here, it says they are not making any minis for a while. Doesn't sell good enough. Same for the budget iPhone. Yeah, so I'm gonna have the iPhone 13 mini for a while. It kind of sucks because I'd like to upgrade. I'd like to get that new camera in there, but it is what it is. I love the mini. It's too perfect. One great thing that came from COVID-19 is more health conscious. Yeah, I would agree. I would say that for us, it definitely put, because things like the flu, it's like, oh, we know it's the flu season, but like, yeah, it wasn't really at the top of my list or thought process, but definitely doing more to wash hands, make sure the kids aren't like putting their hands all over their face all the time, and just, little things like that. Like even trying to, I know I've been touching my face here, but I washed my hands before, and I haven't sanitized this stuff in a while. I don't know, but just like one of those things, like during the day, not doing it as much. So yeah, you could always say on the invitation, face masks are preferred but not required. Yeah, I think so. I know that our community, Like if I had an in-person event last year, a good chunk of our community would not have come. They would not. They told me. They're like, yeah, we're like, because I, have a lot of individual conversations with these people, and they're like, yeah, like you can have an event. That's awesome. Great. But I won't be there for my own health's sake. So, and I mean, I don't blame them, especially after I got COVID-19. Like it was not, it was not a fun experience. 2 weeks of being sick. 2 weeks of being sick with it, and then another week or so of bronchitis on top of that. So, and then still having a cough for like an extra week on top. So, like basically a month of being sick and in August, which really sucks because like I missed out on so much with the kids getting to do stuff in the summer. And I didn't even have it that bad. Like ultimately I didn't really have it that bad. I didn't end up in the hospital or anything like that. So, it was bad enough for me. And yeah, bronchitis was after the fact. That really, I think I maybe have had bronchitis like once ever in my life, maybe that I know of, that I got, diagnosed with. So for me, it was, really not great experience that, fortunate I didn't end up in the hospital. Fortunate my son didn't end up with it. My daughter had it, but she had no symptoms at all. My wife Melissa, she had it, but basically had like a mild cold for like 4 or 5 days, 6 days maybe, and that's it. So yeah, I don't know. So I think people will encourage people to wear masks. I probably will wear a mask on and off throughout, depending on how close. Like, when I'm at the front of the room hosting, I probably won't. But when I'm, in close proximity with a lot of people, I probably will. But I think the other question is like, so to go to MagFest, they required your vaccination card for you to be able to get in. I don't think I would go that far. I think that's really up to people if they, so choose to do that. But yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. Not weird, but just maybe taking it one step further. But I don't know. I mean, maybe because of the fact that you have an event that has like, I don't know, 20, 30, I don't know how many people show up at the event, like 20, 30,000 people. The rules of insurance are just different. I don't know. Versus like 100 to 200-300 person event. It's not, no way it's the same. Loki says, I'm one of the only, one of those people that doesn't get sick, never had flu or COVID. Wow. That's awesome, man. I think I've only had the flu like 2 or 3 times in my life, and not a great feeling when I did, but yeah. So anyway, I think I got to go to bed because it is like 11 o'clock here, and I got to get up early to go for a run because it's been a few days. But I appreciate you all watching and being a part of the super community, being here, hanging out, asking questions, getting to be a sounding board for the next steps in the super community. And look here, so you're so welcome. I appreciate your time being here. It's so awesome. I've always, even as a kid, I remember it was like 99, 2000, getting to connect with people in the Unreal Tournament community and stuff like that was really awesome. And EverQuest, and getting to meet some of those people in real life later on down the line. Like, I just love connecting with people. It is far and away my favorite thing about life. Thing to do in life. So it's awesome that we get to do it here, and I love learning and teaching and all that. So I appreciate you and all of you watching. Chaz, Locutus, let me see if I can scroll how far I can scroll up here. Yuri and Raf and Kid India, and I am Chazadish. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Paul and B and Ewer and Kahir, and Mike and Pundi and Himant. Awesome. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. I guess I'll eventually I'll post videos over here for you to go and check out. Angela, thank you. Hi from Texas. Hope Texas is doing well. I don't know if you guys are in a deep freeze or not. I haven't really followed the news too much lately or the weather. So hopefully you guys are staying warm down there and enjoying the January. And if you are from Texas, if you're from Dallas, just saying. Just saying. We will see. But anyway, I hope you all have a great night or great day, depending on where you are in the world right now, because some of you are in the morning time already, which is just absolutely awesome to me to see. Look, he says, perhaps you should schedule a live stream so that way YouTube will notify your subs, even a 5-minute heads up. Yeah, I do need to do that because like I've been hitting the go live button in OBS, which by the way, has this like dropped frames at all? Because like my preview, like it seems like it's running fine, and then I feel like I'm like skipping across the screen from time to time, but it doesn't show I've dropped any frames, so I'm gonna say it's just local, not going out like that. Hopefully, I hope. Because I got a new capture card in there, no dropping frames. Okay, good. Because it's like if I move too much, like every 30 seconds. Oh, it just did again. Like every 30 seconds or so, it like is weird. Good to know. Anyway, yes, I will try to schedule these things. The problem is scheduling. I might be able to squeeze one in tomorrow night, if possible. If not, maybe Thursday. But Thursday I try to rest because I got Shark Tank on Friday night, and we got 2 episodes coming up. We got that I know of, the 13th, so this Friday, and the 20th. So there's that. Also, if you're into computer games, older games, I'm doing a LAN party here with some of my friends, and I was thinking maybe I could open it up to anybody that wants to be a part of it. I think it's like most of the games are online. We might have to do some VPN stuff. It's Friday the 17th of February and the 18th. So I'll probably do some live streaming and open up. Like we'll probably I don't know. There's a lot of old games we'll be playing, like from like the early 2000s and stuff. But anyway, go have a great night. Go have a great day. Go be super. Go do great things and enrich other people's lives to do post on the community page. I will post on the community page. I got to figure out the VPN situation because I have one now, but I don't really want just anybody coming onto my network. And I don't know what the pings are when you had talk. So I don't know. I might have to do, maybe for certain games we could put like post codes or something, like if we do like golf with your friends or something, would be fun to play, or Rocket League or something to that effect. Anyway, I really got to go. I could stay here all night. Greatly appreciate all of you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video over here.